All right, you made it to video number 3. Video number 3 is where we're going to be looking at the Dark Matter series speakers we have right here. We've got the 112, the DM112 top, which is a 12-inch two-way above a 15-inch sub. This is the 115 sub here, and they're both in the Dark Matter series, which is one of the newer series from Peavey, with powered, the amplifier built right in, has some really cool things we've talked about in the other 2 videos. You go check those 2 out, the links, description below, that kind of stuff. You know how it works. But this is the one where you're going to listen to it. So this is the video that is going to be flagged and slapped and all those things on YouTube. But hey, hopefully you guys will be able to listen to the actual audio from it and they won't just kind of bleep that out. What we want to do is we want to show you, we're going to put this on and play some music through the settings that I like. The first one, which if you watch the first video, you would know what that setting is. Then we're going to go through, I think there's 10 different settings for the top speaker. And I'm going to go and put a loop on, and we're going to play that loop, and we're going to put each loop, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'll signify which one it is. So it's going to be a little bit longer video, but it's going to give you an idea of what this sounds together with those different settings. I'm not going to be changing the subwoofer whatsoever. I'm just going to be changing the DSP in the top speaker throughout the different settings that are built into it, so you guys can hopefully hear the difference. We're using a really good quality shotgun microphone. We're not going to be going too terribly loud because we want to make sure you guys are hearing what we're hearing out here in this test. So we're going to go through, and this is at my favorite setting right now, which again, if you watch the first video, you would know what this is, and you guys will be able to get a little idea of what these sound like. Again, this is a 12-inch top, 15-inch subwoofer, really designed for the wedding DJs or someone who's doing some smaller parties. Not designed for the high school dance gymnasium world, because the 15 and the 12, while they can get loud, aren't going to be able to handle 300 kids in a large gymnasium. This is your 200-person wedding, something that's easy to transport, that's going to be like my little small truck right behind, a little Ranger-type truck. This is the perfect sound system that fits in the back of the truck with all your other gear and still will rock most weddings and really small events like that. Okay, let's put some sound to this and let's check them out. that was a look at the 9 built-in settings on the DSP on the 112 top. The subwoofer wasn't changed, the volume, gain, what have you, none of that was changed. It was just changing between. But we started out with EDM, which was kind of a little bit higher, I think, on the two extremes. Then DJ was like it really had, I think, a bump in the highs, and that's why I mentioned I didn't like that one. I think 3 was, yeah, let me just check. We'll just give you guys all that right here. 3 was rock, a traditional rock setting. 4 was country. 5 was the one I liked the most, which was acoustic, which I've talked about before. I feel that acoustic gave me the best vocal. It gives me a little bit of the highs, and it gives me a nice low. That's my personal favorite, was acoustic. 6 was hip-hop. I don't know if you picked that up when we go back and listen to this again. It seemed like when we got to 6, it was like they took all the channels on the EQ and pushed them up. All of them. Check that out. You'll listen to it. I think you might hear the same thing. 7 was vocal, which of course should have taken some of those highs and really lows off. I couldn't really tell too terribly much with that. And then church auditorium at 8 was church auditorium. But I noticed with that one, it sounded like the highs were almost completely gone. It'll be interesting to see what the video sounds like, but for number 8, church auditorium, it seemed that way. And the last one was number 9, which was floor monitor, so you can use that in the floor monitor. I couldn't tell much of a difference between floor monitor and acoustic and some of the other ones. So anyway, that's a little brief listen to the Dark Matter. This is the 112 above the 115 sub. A nice little compact system. I think for someone who was wanting to get started and going out and having a really nice sound system, this is definitely an option. It's lightweight, easily handled. Get your covers for it so you're going to protect them, because you've got cabinets that could get scratched up and scuffed up. I've got a few scuffs on them already. Got to get that taken care of as far as just to clean them up, because they have a durable finish, don't get me wrong. It's just that they get dirty and as you're transporting and moving around and rubbing up against skin and what have you, and dusty. Plastic cabinet on top, very lightweight, easy to put up on a stand. Great for the weddings. If you're in a wedding market and you're doing smaller weddings, great. If you're doing house parties, you're doing some teen events where you're not playing to 150 kids. If you're doing, the real big trend right now is to be doing the little smaller experience events, the 2-car garage parties, the pole shed party for the teens. If you're doing something like that, perfect sound system for that. If you want to try to go to 200 or more kids, I would suggest you looking at an 18-inch subwoofer, moving up a little bit in the line here, because this is great for portability and sound, but it's not going to be able to handle 300 kids in a large space. We'll put links again in the description below. Check that out. Check out the first video where we talked about the 112, the second video where we talked about the 115 sub. These are the new Dark Matter series speakers from Peavey.